So to begin, we're going to go over to the presentation, and I hope everyone can see this. So this is our logo, TransJet Cargo. It's going to be short for TJC. We wanted the company to have a very catchy name. So they have TQL, the CH Robinson. So we wanted something along those lines, and you'll see a lot of that theme carried throughout the company. So you have TJC, and we want that name to be known in the marketplace by shippers and carriers across the board. So moving on, we're based out of Indianapolis, Indiana. So if anybody's familiar with that, we pretty much work all over North America. So Canada, Mexico, United States, that's us. And we pretty much offer very similar services to what TQL and what CH Robinson may offer, but in a non corporate environment. We're very friendly. We're a family-based business, and we're trying to be within the market to prove ourselves that, hey, this TQL can do this, we can do it better. We can take care of it a little bit more personally compared to the corporate business models. And so everyone here is, in one way or another, wants to become a freight broker, or is already a freight broker. So these are some of the most important things when becoming a freight broker and when you are already a freight broker. So the first thing is we have to create a portfolio of shippers that we want to work with regularly. So what does that mean? So that means that you might get shippers once in a while, send you a load, and you don't speak to them for the next year. But what we want really is we want shippers to work with us every single week, every single day, every few hours if possible. So we want them to trust us enough to say, hey, you know what, I got this load stuck. Can you do it today? Can you get it out right now? And we don't really want to say, hey, no, I'm too busy. We want to work with them on a personal level and create that portfolio. Every freight broker agent should have their own portfolio, meaning they should have their own trend, what they want to go with, what they want to choose. Let's say they want to choose flatbed over step deck, or they want to choose flatbed over a reefer. You want to create that portfolio around flatbed. So if you specialize in flatbed, I would recommend you look at construction companies, you look at lumber and stuff like that. Freight that needs to be moved on a flatbed, and especially knowing the differences. Things between like a flatbed, step deck. If they use straps, or they use chains, if they use reefers, and how many foot trailer, if they need a 42, 48 foot, 53 foot, what kind of trailer. These are all things that you will become very familiar with throughout this process. So once you have become a freight broker agent and you are making those calls every day to these shippers, you'll start to slowly develop a relationship with these shippers, and you'll be able to create that portfolio. Now, once you have created it, it's very important to actually retain that relationship. Now, I know a lot of people that once, let's say you get a load and from a shipper, and he's like, okay, I'm going to give you for 1,000, you sell it for 700, you have your 150, the 50% commission you made on it, and you're like, okay, this is it, I'm going to move on to the next one, or I'm going to try and find the next guy. Why not build and maintain the relationship you have just created with this guy to give you that, he gives you that 150 every single day, or he gives you that 150 every week or every month. Every 150 counts. Every dollar counts at the end of the day. And that's really what it means to be a freight broker agent. You need to have a good relationship with these shippers and carriers to maintain that and retain that customer base. So what we expect from you as a freight broker agent is pretty much I would say this is a volume game. Anybody who's new to the industry, we have 2 or 3 people who are new to the industry, they might be making 50, 60 calls a day. And I'll tell you right now, that's not enough. I can tell you, from the beginning that you need to make at least a minimum of 100 calls a day for you to see business coming in, for you to see yourself learning this business, how to pick it up. You need to make at least 100 calls daily. I would suggest you start as early as you can. I know Luis says he wakes up at 6 a.m. in Honduras. He's in Central Time, so that's 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And, once it gets to that 7 to 10, once you've made all those calls in the beginning in the Eastern zone, you actually move on to California because they've just started their day at 7 a.m. So it's very important. You're actually going to stay busy from 7 to around about 1 o'clock making these calls, getting those loads, getting them shipped. It's very important that you wake up early and you make those calls. This is a volume game, as I previously mentioned. So as a smart freight broker, I would say that what I would do personally is not just rely on the systems that I have available to me, but I would also do my own research. It's very important that we use some of our own knowledge and our own intuitiveness to find the freight around us. So, we have guys right next door to us, and we could go talk to them. We could go meet them. We could go introduce ourselves. Hey, we're TJC. We're a freight brokerage company. If you have some freight, let us know. We can help you out with some quotes and on some lanes. Easy as that. You could go, you could go to your local warehouses, local manufacturers. You could do all of this. So you're researching, and you're also getting real world examples of how the market's doing. Because when you go there, they're going to tell you, hey, you know what? We're not so busy right now. Come back in December or come back in January. That's when we really get busy. So you have to make that follow up. Like, hey, these guys are actually going to get busy in December. Let me go there and meet this guy in December. Remember his name. Follow up. Remember his contact information. Because what you think you're going to remember it, you're not. And we provide you with a full TMS and a CRM for all of that information to be embedded in. You can add as much information as you like, and it's going to actually help you in the future. So that just pretty much follows up with what I'm saying: the TMS and creating reminders, making sure they need to be taken care of. Okay, so this is pretty much your job description. This is broad, and I'm going to go into some key points that are very important for a freight broker to have. You must have very strong phone etiquette. Now, this is important because you're not really seeing people face to face. So it's different, from, saying, hey, or, when they can read your face and read your emotions, or, you coming out as cheery. So you need to use all of that, but through your voice. So how do you really relate to someone, hey, you know what, how you doing? Rather than, hey, how you doing? So it's very important that you relay that through your voice, that I'm a friendly guy, you can trust me, I'm able to move your business from A to B in a reliable fashion. So, and you need to have that very strong phone etiquette. And honestly, picking up phone calls, making phone calls, and leaving voicemails, all these three things are very important in the freight brokerage world, because you're not gonna, make a call and they're gonna pick up straight away. You might have to leave 10 voicemails before they actually say, hey, you know what? Let me give this guy a shot. And Louise was telling me a very funny story. This guy, he called, he has previous freight brokerage experience, and he called this lady almost a year before she picked up and gave him business, and it was a U-Haul account. So you never know. Always follow up. Always make sure you are using the correct terminology in the phone. And all of you guys are going to be working from home pretty much. We have the office available to you guys if you'd like to visit from Honduras or St. Louis, or I forgot, I think Derek is in Louisiana. So if you'd like to visit, you're welcome. Everyone's welcome to come. We will show you around. It's a pretty nice place. We'll get some food for you guys, get some pizza going. But everybody's going to be working from home. So what I would say is that you need to create that mantra almost to pretty much work on your own and be motivated. It is a self-motivated job. So, you're not going to wake up and just be like, oh, you know what, right now I don't feel like working. You have to get up, dress, do whatever you need to do, sit on a desk, create a workspace for yourself that once you're in that workspace, nothing can disturb you. Something going on outside, something going on this side, Instagram, Facebook, nothing like that can distract you for those 6 hours that you might be sitting down making calls. And you need to work on that on your own. This is something that everyone's different across the board. Some people are very disciplined in what they do, and some people are just not. It's just the way it is. Some people procrastinate all day. You must be able to communicate in English. So, of course, a very important, since mostly everyone in America speaks English. We need to be good at writing and speaking in English. It's pretty self-explanatory. Organize and attention to detail. As you know, as a freight broker, you're working with real time, real people's money, real shipping costs, settlements, all these things that you need to be very proficient at these things. You need to have attention to detail, and you need to be able to communicate properly. So the next thing is that you need to be proficient at Microsoft Office, which is self-explanatory because you're going to be using Outlook and things like Excel and stuff like that. I mean, this is very minimum because most of the stuff that we're actually providing you with is going to be done in the TMS. And we're going to be giving you the first-hand training on TMS and how to use that sales CRM that you already have embedded into the system. So you won't really need to use Excel in Office, but emails, Outlook, things like that, they're very important. Ability to communicate with clients, of course, self-explanatory. A minimum of 2 years of professional experience. Now, why we say that is because you will become used to that professional environment and you will know what to do in certain situations. So in a professional environment, you're not you don't say let me so you have to be quick on your feet. You have to think about it and you say, hey, let me get back to you on that. Hey, let me think about that for a second. Give me a second. Let me just work that out for you. There's a certain amount of lingo that you would need to learn in a professional environment that I feel like you can carry out over this job, and that will actually help you. There are certain things that some people do better than others because they're able to communicate better because they've already had some sort of experience on how to deal with certain people. You have to basically judge the character. Hey, how am I going to approach this guy? Does this guy, if he's wearing a Yankees cap, maybe talk about sports. If he's into cars and he's got a keychain with a Ferrari on it, pick it up. Hey, you know what? I love Ferraris. Hey, so you have to know these things, and I feel like professional experience helps you do that because you've been surrounded by people and you pick out certain things and you react to certain things in a certain way. So moving on to duties, this is all pretty much self-explanatory stuff. You're making sure that the management is aware of issues. So let's say I get a load and the shipper is saying, hey, I'm going to give you 1,000, and I say, okay, I sell it for 700, whatever happens. The driver's late, and I'm not telling the shipper, I'm not telling anyone.
We can hear you.
Sorry, there was no way to tell you.
Give me a sec.
Okay.
We can hear you now.
Oh, you can hear me?
None of us out here can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Wait, how long could you not hear me?
For like 30 seconds.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. I was like, did I just do the presentation to myself?
No, just from picking up on the Ferrari.
Okay, gotcha. Picking up on the Ferrari. Okay. So I do believe we are having some internet issues maybe. Let me get back to that one. So everybody can hear me, right?
Fantastic. We didn't do anything. We haven't touched anything.
Is everyone able to hear me?
Yep.
Okay, sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, sounds good.
I usually do this a lot.
Okay, so as I was talking about after the Ferrari, sorry, I mentioned that you have to make the management aware of what's going on. So let's say if a load is late, please don't just leave it to yourself to say, hey, you know what, I'll tell them after the load's late. Keep us updated. Let us know what we have to do to explain to the shipper, hey, this load's late. What can we do? How can we help? Or, maybe, you can negotiate something. The driver's tire is down, or the driver's truck is down, or trailer's down, whatever it may be. Explain to us and tell us exactly what's going on at that time. Now, that further develops your relationship with carriers. If you're upfront and if you tell them exactly what's going on, why the shipper is doing this, why the carrier is doing this to the shipper, you have to be upfront in some sort of manner to make sure you cover yourself. Because the industry you're playing with, big loads sometimes that can be like thousands of dollars, and if they're late or like a reefer load being late might be refused, that'll go to settlement. It's better to let us know immediately so we can actually then figure out something for you. Like, hey, actually this this load's broken over here. Let's just deliver it to this warehouse rather than going into that warehouse. They can store it for longer, or they'll take it right now. So that's very important. The next one is ask carrier for additional freight commitments. I mean, we all know this. You know, if a shipper is giving you 20 loads and you're only able to get out 15, you're gonna need to talk to the carrier. Hey, you know what? I need more loads. But really, in this market right now, you won't have any issues with getting truckers. You'll actually have more issues with getting the shippers on board. And as I said, this is why we need to make those calls to talk to the shippers properly and to be able to communicate properly with them and get those loads from them. Because as soon as you post a load one of our load coordinators post a load on the DAT load board, it's gone within 10, 20, 30 minutes, depending on when it's gonna go. That's pretty self-explanatory. And maintain prospect list. Yeah, of course you're all going to do that. Now, updating a database. I just want to give you guys a rundown of how important it is to really keep the database updated. Let me give you a situation. There is a lead. You have not claimed the lead. You have just called them, hung up, or they've hung up. They don't want anything to do, and you've not updated the database. Hey, these guys don't want business, or these guys are not looking for brokers right now. Now what happens is that time is spent, but the next person, the next sales agent who's going to see the same lead is going to make the same call. He's going to say, hey, and they're going to say, no, the other guy just called. Do you not have? No, she doesn't have anything. He doesn't have anything. You have to update the database so the other person, the other salesperson, we could be making 30 calls a day to these guys. And we don't want that because we look bad and we're not going to get future business if you're making 30, cold calls a day. So make sure you update the database, and we can show you everything on how this happens and how you maintain the database and how you update your leads. So one of the biggest things, one of the biggest advantages at working at a freight brokerage, and especially at TJC, you get to work from anywhere. And we have a prime example of that with Luis. He's working from Honduras. We have people in India. We have people, across Indianapolis that, don't want to come into the office. They work from home. They sometimes come into the office, get stuff, and then go. So we actually provide you with the training and resources to become a successful freight broker agent in the marketplace. Now, what does that mean to be successful? It means that you already have a list of leads that you have to follow up with. We're already giving you the people that you actually need to speak to get the business. We're just saying, hey, here's what you need. Go get the money. Go get the business. You already have the leads that you need to call. It's already pre-populated within the TMS. We're not telling you to, hey, go out, go do your own research, go get your own leads, go get your own loads. We'll provide you with the TMS, the transportation management software system. We'll provide you with the sales CRM, so you have access to all of these leads, and we're updating and handpicking these leads every single day, pretty much to make as many leads as possible. And this is being, I think it's being recorded from shippermate.com, which is pretty much a truckstop.com system. So what this allows is to get verifiable leads that, hey, these people do actually have a shipping department. Now, it might be different that you call someone and they say, hey, you know what, we're not actually looking for brokers. We're not giving you a guarantee like this guy is going to give you freight, but we're saying, hey, try your luck. Give it a go. They might need someone right now. They want someone right now, or they might want someone in 2 days or in the future. We have so many people saying, hey, give me your email, I'll send you loads, give me some lane rates. So it's very important that you follow up with your leads, and we provide you all of that. Now, we expect you to start your day at 7 a.m. Some shippers are available 24/7, but we don't really want any later or any earlier than that. 7 a.m. is a good time, Eastern Standard Time, which would be 6 a.m. for Central. And it is your responsibility to call and get the loads from these businesses, from these shippers. Now, we do provide you tools. There is a tool called DAT Hotspot Search. Now, what that allows you to do is actually see the previous day's market and how the market is trending, how many loads are in the area, and how many truckers DAT has in that area right now looking for loads. So it's not it's not an across the board information, but it's still quite a lot of information since DAT is one of the the biggest load boards. I think it is the biggest load board. But yeah, you have that available to you. You'll have those things available to you, and these things are costing the company along with the TMS, along with the sales CRM. But we're giving you the opportunity to prove yourself that you make money, we make money. That's simple as it is. So as I mentioned earlier, the TMS system we use, it's called Transport Pro. It will have pre-populated leads within your CRM. And these leads have been selected from different sources, and somebody's adding them every single day. They're being handpicked, and they're adding phone numbers, information. If they can, they'll add the executive's name, who runs the company, what's the revenue of that company. You'll have all of this information available to you. And this is pretty much potential business waiting to happen. You don't know the 100 calls you do, the 101st call that you could have done, and you're like, give up. That could have given you business. And people with that mindset don't just make 100 calls, they make 200 calls. I know people who are making 250 calls a day. So it's very possible. It's very possible. You just have to stick to it. Excuse me. Okay. So to call a lead within the system, you will select a lead. You'll have a hyperlink to select the lead. You will claim it. And I'll show you all of this. We'll go through a much deeper, extensive training program with everyone who's on the onboarding process and going through the HR. And it is your responsibility, once you have claimed the lead, to add the activities, add the calls, and add any information that you can get from that customer when you have called them. So if you speak to the logistics manager and his name is Kyle, you're going to write, hey, his name is Kyle. This is his best time to call him. This is his email. He doesn't want loads right now. He wants them in December 15th. And you add a activity so it reminds you, hey, you know what? Kyle's going to ask, 4 days before on the 12th. He's going to ask you for loads on the 15th. Talk to him right now. See what he can do. And the TJC sales support system. This is very important because not a lot of companies do this way, the way we're doing it. This is pretty much your own support team for freight sales brokers and sales agents. You will have a group of load coordinators that pretty much look after your sale. Now, what that means is you have committed a sale for a route with a shipper, and you don't really want to worry about, how's it going to get there? Who's going to look after it? Who's checking the DAT on time? Who's checking the tracking? Who's making the calls to the driver? We have people for that. And we are pretty much preparing them in the same way we're preparing you, but for them to handle much large loads. So let's say that each one of them is dealing with 15 to 16 loads a day. So we're training them that they will be making follow-up calls, doing DAT on time tracking, and also dealing with any customer issues that you guys receive. So what we really want is we want the salespeople to do just the sales. We don't want you to worry about, hey, you know what? I did that load the other day. Did it get there? Or am I having issues with that load? Or do I need to call the driver? Do I need to call the carrier? Do I need to call the shipper? Do I need to let him know that it's going to be late? All you have to do is tell us, hey, this is the maximum I'm going to sell it for. If this load is for $1,000, don't let it go for any more than $700. Don't let it go for any more than $750. And you are actually keeping that cap. You get to decide. And something does happen with the load, or there is an update, the load coordinator will call you and make you aware, hey, this is going on, what would you like me to do? So we're actually providing you with your own support system, and this is almost like your own business, and you have these assistants to maintain that business for you. You're going out, your job is to go out, get new business. Somebody else is trying to do the retaining, as long as the load is going on. They're not going to be making follow-up calls with your shippers because you already have that. You already have that written in your system. You already have that activity pre-recorded in your system. Hey, I'm going to make this call to the shipper. You've already added it. But what they will do is once you are on that load, they will actually help you with that, and they will help you make sure that the load gets delivered on time, make sure they get update on tracking, make sure that the load is sold for the right price, and yeah, that's our support system. So the next thing, I think everyone we have on this meeting webinar is on the 40 to 50% commission margin. And I know some people who already have a book of business, and some people who are already, joining with some leads. They will be starting immediately on 50, but mostly everybody else is starting on a 40% commission margin. Now, how that works is pretty much, let's say I get a load from a shipper for $1,000, and this load is going from Ohio to New Jersey, and it's $1,000 that I'm getting for it. I sell that load on DAT load board for 600 or 700, let's say. Makes it easier. The 30% margin that you have left over from that $1,000 load, the 300 that the company has made, you will receive 50% of that, and the company receives 50% of that. So you will make $150 on one load. Just as an example, some loads may be $300, some loads may be $5,000. You might make a lot more on that sale, So it all depends on who you're in touch with, what kind of loads they're providing. If somebody's providing 30 loads a day for, you're only making $50 each, you're actually making a lot more than the guy who's moving one load for $5,000. So it all depends on the volume. It all depends on what the margin is on the actual rate of the lane itself. But it also, a lot of it depends on you. Can you even handle that? I know Luis, he said, hey, I can do this. I'm going to have people who are working under me. I'm going to pay them a margin of my commission. Great. You can do that. We give you the freedom to do that. You're going to be signing a 1099 contract. You are your own business. You're an independent freight contractor. And so yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory there. I don't think we have any base pay people on this meeting currently. So the commission structure. So we'll go to the full commission work. You will earn 40% for your first 90 days as a sales executive, and the margin will actually automatically increase to 50% depending on your ability to obtain those accounts from the shippers. So let's say 90 days you've got no business, it's not going to go to 50%. You're still it's 50%. It's 40 to 50% from the day you obtain business. So I could be getting business tomorrow. My 90 days will start from that moment. So then I'm working from 40 to 50%. And yeah, I feel like that's pretty much it. Let me see. Okay, so that's everything. So now I'm actually going to give everyone a chance to ask some questions. And let's start off with, give me a sec. So Luis, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, great. So Luis, what kind of questions are coming into your mind whilst I was presenting you that PowerPoint?
Most of all, yesterday when I spoke with Manny, we came to an agreement with pretty much how I was going to do the work.
Yeah.
Pretty much my last question was, and I think that should have been my first one, was most of all, your company's information, the MC number, what we need to provide sometimes to the customers, because that's the first thing they asked of us.
Right.
How many years we've been in business, how much is your cargo insurance, auto liability, all of the good stuff that they want to know. But I am pretty sure that that's going to be cleared out once we receive the documentation from you guys. So
absolutely. So you will receive a packet from us that will have all the MC information, what the insurance information is. We are insured for 250. So you won't have any issues with that. We are, I think, the MC number is 2 years old, so you won't have any problems with getting loads. We're already an established business, and you'll have the information for the EIN, the phone line, what your extension is, what your email is. We'll be providing you with all of that information.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty much good with that. Other than that, I don't have any questions, to be honest with you.
Sounds good. So let me move on to So Quentin, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. So, Quentin, do you have any questions after that presentation I presented you?
Yeah, just on the commission rate. So you're saying that the 90 days start after you get your first sale. So when you're going between 40 to 50%, is it like a standard number that you guys have, or do you guys just determine the fit depending on how you feel about the person and the business they brought in that the increase of percentage goes?
The 40 to 50 depends on. So let's say I'm here for 2 weeks and I haven't done any business. The 40% will actually start on the day you do business, and the 90 days from that day, once you've done business, you will automatically be gone to 50%. You won't have any. We're not going to have a sit down and say, hey, you know what, Derek, say, hey, what, Quentin, you know what, you're doing great. Here's 50%. We'll give you 50% across the board regardless. Once you've done business.
Okay, that's what I want. I didn't know if it was like a certain amount of sales or something like that you need to have to get that.
So the certain amount of sales, for you to achieve any higher than 50%, we will actually have a sit down. We will have a meeting with you. If your performance is very good, it's making the company money, you're making good money, we can discuss something further. But right now, I don't think we don't have anyone that's pretty much, doing that kind of work. So once we do, we will definitely we are able to sit down and negotiate something for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. So let's have a look. Okay. Next up, I believe we have Derek, and I just want to make sure his microphone is working. Derek, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, yeah.
Okay, so working with my previous employer, myself used a website called manta.com, and it's like you can, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it. So in using something like that, I know you said that our transportation software will have leads, built into it. So like, would you suggest that we primarily focus on those, or use other resources that we have for actually generating leads?
Honestly, it's completely up to you, Derek. The way you get business, you know better than us. You know better than us if you need to go out in the field, if you need to use Manta, if you need to use McCrae's Blue Book, if you need to use any of those other promise nets. All of these things will be helpful to you. But what we have is a system that pretty much takes all of those things, all of those sources, and puts them together into the sales CRM.
Correct.
So you already have pre-populated leads that you can actually pull straight from the CRM without, some people are stuck on, where do I start? Who do I go to first? I know Latanya already has, 3 or 4, 5 people she can go to, visit them, and she's got loads coming in. But Derek, you might be, hey, where the hell do I start? But you already have your CRM ready for you.
Yeah, because the information that you said it provides, it sounds very similar to Manta, where you can see like the gross revenue of the company, and you can select like other companies in this industry in a certain geographical area, or just places close to it, so you can turn one possible lead on Manta into 50 phone calls to make for the next day or so. So okay, that sounds like that'll work.
You're welcome to do that. You're welcome to use any resource that you need to be able to do this business.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so I do believe Latwania is having some issues with this microphone. Let's go to okay, so I feel like I may need to call Latwania, and because of her microphone is not working at this time. But I do feel that we've discussed quite a bit, and if anyone does have questions, they have my phone number. You can directly contact me. From here onwards, we're pretty much doing the onboarding process. You will be moved off to HR, and they will go over your file and get some information from you, and give you those contracts to sign. So if anybody does have any further questions, please contact me anytime. And it was wonderful talking to you guys. I hope that I explained myself pretty well, and I hope you got an overview of what the company is all about. and I'm available to you guys 24/7 a day. Contact me anytime, and yeah, I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Thank you.
Good now? Yeah.